Fallout. Fallout always changes. Good day to you, my fiends. I just finished watching Fallout Season 2 and I want to talk about it. I know, I'm very much late to the hype train. It's been like a month and two since the show, the second season came out. I'm aware of it. Don't shoot me, keep your irons on your hips. Ha! I believe there is never a bad time to talk about Fallout, especially knowing there is going to be more content in the future. We're going to get more games, more TV shows, remakes, remasters. So let's just talk about the show, even though it's been a while. Let's cut to the chase, guys. I'm actually very disappointed with this new season. First season was good, not amazing, not a masterpiece, but it also wasn't like a pile of Brahmin shit. It was just solid experience. The new season takes almost everything what I didn't like about the first season and double down on that. And by the way, before we're gonna actually jump to like examples and everything, I just gotta warn you, I'm gonna spoil a lot. From now on, you warn, be ready. Let's go over the good stuff first, since the list is probably gonna be short. Decorations, CGI, costumes, everything on the good level. For example, Death Claws, even though they look different in design, they still recognizable, which is the most important thing. In every Fallout game, Death Claws, they look different. Probably based on the region, whatever the explanation is, doesn't matter. The most important thing, they're recognizable and they look good and expensive on the screen. When it comes to decorations and costumes, everything is amazing. It seems like Amazon gave them a good amount of money, good budget comparing to Invincible. But we're not going to talk about Invincible right now. But yes, everything looks beautiful. The background decorations, especially when they use like white shots to show you everything around the city, the buildings, the apartments. Mwah, good. Another well done aspect of the show, I would say definitely action. I liked it in season 1, I like it in season 2. It's the best way to describe it, it looks gameish. It looks like it's coming from the games, from actual Fallout games. Totally unrealistic gore, body parts flying around, flying away, people getting exploded, limbs getting shot off by ghoul. It looks like he's using VOTs from the game. And power armor feels slow, heavy, and impactful. I don't really have any criticism when it comes to action, except like sometimes during the fights it felt a little bit weird. Like, for example, when Ghoul was fighting Red Scorpion, he felt kind of helpless, like he couldn't do much. He was like trying to do some weird stuff, like in different fight scenes. He, like, especially in season 1, he's sort of badass, he can do some crazy stuff, and suddenly when he's fighting this Red Scorpion, it just looks hilarious on the screen. He struggles, he falls down, he doesn't know what to do, but it's not a big deal. I'm just saying action is good. And the last semi-positive thing I want to mention is the main characters, the main trio. The main reason I'm saying like semi-positive, because I really only enjoyed watching Maximus on the screen. I think he has the shortest story out of 3, but yet the most interesting in my opinion. He goes through a lot of things. In the beginning of the season, he's with the Brotherhood of Steel again, and he's trying to help them because he believes that they're trying to achieve some greater goal. But then eventually he learns that this chapter, this Brotherhood, and specifically the leader, they're like kind of delusional. They want to start a new war. They're crazy. And the most important thing, that he's sort of being used and manipulated into helping them, and he's just nothing but a tool in a great scheme. Meanwhile, Lucy and the Ghoul, they just trying to find their family members, like in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. The same trope that Bethesda uses. Try to find your family member, but it doesn't matter. But that's what they're doing for the most, like, for the majority of the season, they're just looking for the family members. Yes, they're going through different story events, like sort of like side quests. They meet the Legion, they meet NCR, and they go to the strip. But in reality, if you think about it, these mini stories, mini side quests, whatever you want to call them, they don't change Ghoul or Lucy anyhow. They basically stay the same characters the entire time. Ghoul will be acting in self-interest because he's cynical and pragmatic, and Lucy will always stay a good person. I'm not saying they're bad characters. I'm not saying they're bad characters, of course not. I'm just saying they're not doing anything outside of what they usually do. They're the same unchanged characters from season 1. Okay, cowboys, let's talk about something that has got worse in this season. Get ready. It's writing. The writing became really sloppy this time. I don't know what happened, but it felt like the writers were sitting in the room and they were just thinking, let's come up with some cool ideas, but we'll never explain the logic behind it. For example, the Legion. The Legion in the show, what left of it basically in the story is just one medium-sized camp. It's not even that large. And inside of that camp, there are 2 camps, 2 Legion groups with their own Kaisers. And they kinda, but not really, fighting against each other. There's like a mini civil war going on, which is actually a canon. Like if you finish Fallout New Vegas, at the end, you will find out that if Kaiser will die, what most likely will happen to the Legion, it will break apart. And in the show, they actually show it, which is a big plus. They like following the canon. That's what is expected to happen to the Legion. The problem is that how they showed it. Basically, they have this like a hill in the middle of the camp that separates these 2 groups with their own Kaisers. Again, that's the idea in itself. There's 2 Kaisers now. And in the middle on that hill, there's a dead body of the actual Kaiser, like the Kaiser from New Vegas. And the body has a piece of paper on the chest. And in that piece of paper, there is a name of the successor to Kaiser, who's supposed to be the next Kaiser. And now you have a lot of questions coming. Who put that body over there? When they put the body over there, why nobody took that piece of paper? When the main character arrived to the camp, why they're not exactly fighting each other? I mean, they trying to kind of get to it, but they're kind of getting killed. But come on, you just gotta go and just kind of fight each other. Like overall, the idea just is absurd. And when the Ghoul comes over there, he kind of sabotages one of the camps, and after that sabotage, after the explosion, they suddenly go and start fighting each other. Like they just needed some sort of trigger to go and do it. I think overall is just stupid. The idea that the camp, like the Legion, got separated and broke apart is good. The rest of the stuff, questionable. Basically, and this kind of concept applies to the entire season. The writers have some kind of idea, which is maybe okay, kind of cool, kind of interesting, but when you start thinking about it, it just doesn't make sense. They never explain some of those things. For example, Death Claws. We have Death Claws now actually at the Strip. They actually in the city of, like in the New Vegas, next to Lucky 38. Question, how they got there? Why they surrounding just Lucky 38? How they, I can assume they escaped the quarry junction. Maybe they mentioned that in the show, but it doesn't matter. So they just kind of live, they have a nest around Lucky 38. And the craziest thing is that you would think that, okay, all the people left, but you know what? There is actually a tiny gate, like a very thin gate with a chain on it. I think it was like a chain, but it doesn't matter. Even if it doesn't have a chain, it's just a tiny thin gate that separates Lucky 38 with all these Death Claws and the rest of the city where people still live. So basically, nothing stops these Death Claws break that freaking gate, since they're hungry and they actually like they're hunting people, go inside and start eating people. When I saw it like in the beginning of the season, I was like, okay, whatever. Maybe Death Claw's just not strong enough. Maybe they just don't have enough strength to break that gate. But then by the end of the show, they actually do. They hit Maximus. He flies through the gate. He breaks the gate. And if they got the strength of throwing Maximus like that and breaking the gate, they had absolutely no reason not to break it. Like they had absolutely like the gate should not be able to stop them. So it just doesn't make sense. Again, logically, it's not explained. Also, Hank, Lucy's father, he goes inside of Lucky 38. I don't think he actually goes inside the Lucky 38, but there is a facility, underground facility under Lucky 38. Question: how Hank goes inside of that facility, the management vault, I think they call it management vault, how Hank gets inside of it and how he goes around those death claws. I can assume there is a second entrance, but they never tell us. They never tell us if there is a second entrance. How he goes around this death claws, again, never explained. I only by the end of the show, the only entrance that was ever shown to us is through the Lucky 38. Again, which is surrounded by the death claws. And here's another small example of sloppy writing. At some point, somewhere in the middle of the season, if you remember Norm, Lucy's brother, he's surrounded by this a bunch of enemies and he has only this one girl who's trying to help him. They accidentally, while they're fighting each other, they accidentally open the elevator doors and a swarm of red roaches storm in. Norm is trying to escape. He jumps under this like open desk, which is like, when I was watching it, I was like, red roaches literally can just go inside that under that desk and just eat him. Like they have absolutely no problem of doing that, but they kind of ignored him. They started to chase the rest of the group, and they go inside this room, and the red roaches also storm inside that room and they start eating everyone. Couple of scenes later, Norm, he stands up, he goes to that room. He basically survived. He goes inside that room and all the red roaches disappeared. Where are they? Nobody knows. Where did they go? Nobody knows. But you know what's the most interesting and kind of questionable thing? Like the only person that he made friends with from that group of people that were trying to kill him, she's alive. She's untouched. She's almost unharmed. And I was just like, how is it even possible? Everyone else in that room got killed, except that girl that was friend with Norm, and Norm survived that incident too somehow under the like open desk. Like it just, when you look at that scene, when you watch that scene, it just seems like, okay, they literally just gave plot armor to this guy. They didn't explain how he survived everything, his friends survived everything. Another thing, I don't understand why it is in the story and it's not really explained to us the significance of it. It's the incest club. There is an entire storyline that is dedicated to the club for people that love to do incest. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how it is. For some reason, the writers dedicated this in like, God knows, like a pretty good amount of scenes, a pretty big chunk of the show, of the season, for that specific storyline that doesn't go anywhere. Like I cannot even explain why it is in the show. Like I just literally cannot. Like at first I thought this incest club is gonna lead to some kind of rebellion, which is okay. It kind of does, but at the end of the day, it didn't really play any role. It felt like a waste of time. They could have just focused on this one guy who's investigating his Canadian wife, and that's it. Incest Club is just takes way too much time from the story for absolutely nothing, giving nothing in return. There is no good story, no good characters, nothing. Why is it in there? I have no idea. And the last weird thing that I want to talk about, probably that's gonna upset the people who played Fallout New Vegas, it did kind of upset me in a way because it was confusing. It's the fact that in this season they never mention Hoover Dam. I'll explain. You will be you're probably thinking right now, what are you talking about? Hoover Dam? Who cares about Hoover Dam? It's not important. It is important. Again, for the people who played the game. I will explain. At the end of the show, at the end of the season, we see the Legion basically, they finally fixed their issues. They finally found the leader and they trying to go and conquer New Vegas. They actually go into the city and they want to take control over it. I assume they want to take control over the city, because why would they go there? The same thing with NCR. NCR finally regrouped, they found the people, and they also want to go storm inside the city, New Vegas, and the Legion will be there, and there's probably going to be a fight. The question is, why are they doing that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Again, if you played the game, that's why I'm saying, like, this one is just for people, probably going to upset the people that played the game. The central point, like the second central point, besides the platinum chip of Fallout New Vegas, it's Hoover Dam. Who controls Hoover Dam controls New Vegas. That's why the Legion and NCR going for it. And I guess the writers just forgot about it. They just, Hoover Dam, who cares? We came up with this infinite source of energy, this blue crystal that everyone is kind of trying to get, but not really. Nobody really cares about it. But though it kind of breaks a lot of things, but doesn't matter. Why the Legion and why the NCR going to New Vegas right now at the end of the show? It doesn't make sense. The Legion only want to control Hoover Dam, and NCR only wanted to control Hoover Dam. That was their goal. That's the reason why they were fighting. They forgot that essential thing. When I finished the season, I was just questioning why the Legion is there, why the NCR is there. It doesn't make sense. They should be at at the Hoover Dam fighting each other. If they actually wanted to control, again, New Vegas, they need electricity. That's the essential. That's the most important thing. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would assume they just forgot about it, but the amount of references they used, the amount of things that they showed Victor in some random garage, never explained why he's there. They showed this reference, like the guy who shoots at the end of in the last episode, like in Fallout New Vegas intro trailer. They like showing this like Easter egg, I guess. Ooh, like this is for the fans, but they forgot this thing, and it kind of hurts. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's move on from Hoover Dam, NCR, and Legion fighting over a pile of garbage or ruined city, and actually talk about something more important, something that is connected to the story, which is Brotherhood of Steel. Brotherhood of Steel is very interesting faction, because like if we're gonna talk about them, like in the game, they always changing. They've been changing. In Fallout 1 or 2, they're like techno-fascist. In Fallout 3, they're kind of paladins. They're trying to do good things. In Fallout New Vegas, they're trying to kind of survive. A small group left. And in Fallout 4, they returned back to being techno-fascist. And you know what? In this season, and in previous season too, they became bunch of clowns. They are clowns now. Brotherhood of Steel used to be a lot of things, but not clowns. Remember, they always were kind of like a serious faction. They would either like help you being good people or semi-evil, or like in Fallout 4, sometimes they would be associated with some epic moments when you get out of the building in Fallout 4, the airships coming and everything. It was all serious. In this season, every time when something happens with Brotherhood of Steel, I don't know why the writers just find a way to make them look like a bunch of clowns. When they show, for example, in the show when you see the airships coming from, it's like different Brotherhood from different states coming for a giant meeting to start like a civil war. You could see the ships coming, right? But before the ships, before they show it to you, you see a guy shooting in this like kind of booth. He's wiping his ass or something. He's coming out, and then the camera pans towards the ships, and like it's supposed to be epic moment, but why would you show the guy who's shitting right there? Like, what's the point of that? Then so it's the same episode. Another example, there are two guys, two paladins. They're wearing armor, and they're playing with the grenade, and they're like, oh, catch this grenade, oh, catch, ooh, 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 what if we're gonna drop it? And grenade is like activated. They do this once, and then during the main meeting, like the serious meeting, those two guys, they playing with the grenade again, and Maximus is like, stop guys, stop, it's a very serious meeting, you gotta stop doing it. And they would just keep playing with the grenade. Oh. Also during that meeting and later in the show, all these elders from different chapters that showed up, right, they look like low scum raiders, not actually elders. When they have this meeting and they're talking about like betrayal and going against Commonwealth, and also during the meeting when they show up for the first time, they like just act like they're not elders, and they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. Because like one of the elders was like suggesting, we can betray Commonwealth and go against them, and we can break the code and everything. And the guy's like, one of the another elder is like eating. He's like, yeah, we can do that. Yeah. And there is a scene where elders decided to betray Maximus chapter and actually join Commonwealth. There was a representative from Commonwealth who showed up, and he was in cafeteria, but not really him. It was someone else, but he kind of was in cafeteria in his armor. And all these elders, they showing up one after another, and they talking about betrayal. There's like a lot of people around there. There's a lot of people in cafeteria, and they're like, hey, what if we're gonna join you and we're gonna betray Maximus chapter? We don't want to be with them. And then the second elder shows up, and they start arguing like little kids. They're like, oh, no, we want to betray. Yeah, we want to join together. Wait, let us do this, Commonwealth. We can't betray. And they're just like, the third guy shows up, and they're like, oh, you all came to betray? Oh, and they start talking and everything. These guys just don't act like elders in cafeteria in front of all these people, and they're just fighting each other. It doesn't look serious. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of pissed me off. I think this is all my major complaints. Another one, the small one, is how conveniently the main characters can find each other. Like, Go at some point just randomly wanders out in a desert, and he stumbles upon Maximus, and Maximus has the blue energy crystal that Go needs. It's just all kind of like how they met each other like in the middle of nowhere. But it doesn't really matter. The same issue was present in season 1. But if I want to conclude everything, I would say, yeah, I'm very disappointed with the show. Initially, when I find out that new season is going to take place in New Vegas, I was very excited. I was very open-minded. I thought the writers, they have a lot of things to work with. They can give some answers to the questions that I had. For example, what the Helios 1 station was designed for, or for example, what happened to Jacobstown. And they did kind of answered some of those questions, like for example, what happened to Legion, or what happened to Mr. House. They took those canon events, let's say, but they didn't explain them from a logical standpoint. It's just the execution, the way they showed it on the screen is terrible, in my opinion. They just took elements from the game, put it in the show, like Legion, and they didn't try to explain how these things got to that point, how Legion became separated, how that Kaiser's body ended up being in the middle, how nobody took that piece of paper before, who put that piece of paper with the name successor. It kind of reminds me of Bethesda's approach to some of their storytelling. Let's say like in Fallout 3, they have this town of kids that live for 200 years. There is only kids in there, but they never explain how those kids survive there. I mean, they say they eating mushrooms or something like that, but how they get new kids, how they survive, they never go into that kind of level of deepness. How a guy, what's his name, the Russian dude who lives in the middle of the Washington, with surrounded by super mutants, enemies everywhere. He has two prostitutes living with him, and he only thing that he does, he's drinking and drinking and taking drugs. That's kind of stuff. They just don't really explain. They just roll with the idea. Oh, I like this idea. I'm gonna put it. Explanation, well, you explain it yourself. You know, despite me being scolding for the last 20 to 30 minutes, I still gonna be watching season 3. I like the characters. I like Maximus. I like Lucy. She just finished her story arc searching for her dad, so I hope she's not gonna start searching for her brother Norm in season 3. And I hope Ghoul is also not gonna spending the entire next season looking for his family. I really hope it's not what's gonna happen, because he already been searching for his family for almost 2 seasons, and maybe the show is gonna become more serious. There's still a room for a change, and that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, but this is my thoughts, guys. Like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Don't like, don't subscribe if you don't want to do it. Please leave your comment. What do you think? Maybe you disagree with me. Would you agree with me? Whatever, if you agree with me. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and stay happy, guys. See you next time. Bye bye bye.